That's weird. Should I do it this way then? They said it couldn't be done, folks. 4 streams in a row, and here we are. I'm kind of sweaty and oily and greasy because I just came back from a massage that was way more relaxing than it had any right to be. And so this, like all this, you're just stuck with me like that today. So I was doing some like readjusting. If I have my OBS on this side, the screen that you can't see, it might be better actually, but I'm not used to looking this way. Like, weird. You guys don't often see that side of my face, do you? The only thing is that that screen is a weird, not resolution, like size. It's not the stereotypical size of like 1080, 1200, whatever it normally is. It's like extra wide. So I'm like, okay, it's a whole thing. Anyway, welcome in. Stream 4 in a row? I think we may be onto something. Desla Mirror, welcome in, and Michael, welcome in. The massage that I got was $100 AUD for an hour, which I think is pretty good. It was like one of those like shopping center places that you can kind of just walk in, even though, because I went with my brother, so we called up beforehand. We called up just to make sure that they'd have like availability, and we're like, yep, all right, cool, let's go. And it was so good. But they did drench me in oil. They did indeed. And especially like, cause I had my hair tied up when I went in just to get it out of the way. Cause there's a lot of it, as you can see. And so it stayed in a ponytail for the most part until like right towards the end, where my masseuse was like, is it okay if you take out your ponytail and I can like give you a proper scalp massage? And I was like, of course. At that point, she could have asked me to fucking sign my life away, and I was that relaxed. I was like, just do what you want with me. Anyway, because, yeah, that's what they typically do. They do, like, a scalp massage right at the end, and so it was just, like, oil and fingers in my hair, and I was like, okay, all right, this is happening. So, I haven't showered since I got back, so hence this. And so, yeah, but what I did do was my weekly obligatory upload to the Club Cherry channel, and maybe we'll look at it today, we'll see. Because like I'm still setting everything up on this computer, as you guys know, and I've been meaning to show you some more Club Cherry songs, because I did continue to upload even when I was away for that very long period of time. So there's like a whole catalog, a backlog, if you will, of like little music, video, poetry, weird stuff that we can like watch together. And of course, some other videos that I've been meaning to enjoy with you all. So let's just get these ads out of the way first, and I can finish doing whatever it was I was trying to do with my face, because it's a bit tragic right now. What was I trying to do? Lip gloss. You can't really go wrong, right? And if my hair starts annoying me too much, like it tends to do, as you guys know, maybe I'll just tie it back. But for now, it's fine, loose, as long as you guys can bear it, because like it's really like it's happening. This stuff happening. So, anyway, it feels weird looking here now to look at myself. I can look over here. And I can show you guys my fit today too. It's an oldie but a goodie, this shirt, and there's a special surprise on the back as well. So, yeah. Oh god, I just like sent that right right overboard. Goodness me. The concentration is unmatched. How are you guys doing? Okay. Go to a plastic surgeon with this voice and they'll think they found Elvis. You know, I honestly think if I put my mind to it, I could do a decent Elvis impression. Or at the very least, that kind of southern drawl. I could be like, hey, little mama. Don't step on my blue suede shoes now. Like, if I really put my mind to it and if need drove me, I could probably get away with some, like, I don't know, poor imitation. But yeah, that's quite funny. How are you, World Enjoyer? Are you doing well? This is, again, a bit of a spur of the moment stream. I have kind of embraced the new fuck it, find out mentality and sat down and without really thinking about what I'm doing, just pressed start streaming. And it's been actually helping so far because it's literally like throwing yourself into the deep end and seeing what happens. No matter how this is going or how this is going inside. And so, yeah, I, again, don't have any notes. I don't have anything planned today, but I can talk about the very nice massage that I had. And yeah, just like the nice day that I had with my brother, because he's someone that I talk about a lot here, a very important figure in my life. We're talking about how he passed his driving test yesterday, and we had dinner last night, and it was all amazing, our favorite place to eat. It was all good, and then the party just continued today, I guess. And so, yeah, I'm not sure how long the partying will continue for, probably even further. So you guys hopefully can share the celebrations with me today. And I want to talk about massages because I love them so much. And in fact, I honestly think, as indulgent as it sounds, it's probably like my guilty, not so guilty pleasure. Like if I had the means to do so, like the money and like just the sheer ability, I'd probably have a massage. Like I'd get a massage once a week or even more. Which is so funny. It's like, it's one of those things that I feel like is so underrated. Even if it's highly rated, it's still underrated because it's so amazing. Like just, you know, having someone skilled and who knows their stuff, who's kind of listening and getting the vibe to just like melt out all the tension from you. Come on, that's crazy. And so I don't actually get a massage once or twice a week. I would be very quickly broke and destitute. But every now and then, when I have like some stroke of luck, some miracle befalls me, like actually today with my brother, not only was it like a celebration, but also it was like we'd actually found an old gift card like that we hadn't spent yet. And I'm like, oh, well, this is perfect. We can go on like a little shopping spree. And it's kind of a less guilty way to spend money because it doesn't feel too real. It's like the girl math, you know? And so, yeah, that was like kind of a happy accident, if you want to use that term. It's a bit sus. And so $100 for an hour, that seems pretty reasonable, I think. That's AUD. And it was so nice. Like, oh my gosh, I was literally trying to behave myself because for the most part, I was just trying not to like to twitch or to kind of laugh because I get ticklish, or just like sigh or make any weird fucking noises because I'm prone to doing that. And so for the most part I did okay. There were a few times because like on my back, especially when like someone presses like kind of in specific places, I like jolt unexpectedly. And so yeah, it was a bit embarrassing. It's literally a meme since high school. Sometimes my friends would like walk behind me and just like press this spot kind of on the left of the spine towards the like the bottom part, if that makes sense. And they'd just like distract me from what I was doing. If I was like studying or talking to someone, I'd just suddenly be like, oh. And so yeah, it's not for show. It is literally, it's real, guys. The spot is real. So what can I say? Oh gosh. Let me welcome you guys in properly though, and the freaking audio again is not working. I don't know why, guys. I'm really sorry. You can all hear that, but for some reason the alerts aren't a thing. C Locket, Tim, Cody, Dutchy. Oh my gosh, Dutchy, hello. Obey, and I make it rain. I bet you do. World Enjoy, of course. Desolate Mirror and Michael, always quick on the draw. How you guys doing? Are you guys sick of me yet? 4 days in a row? I won't be offended if you say yes. And so, yeah, here we are. This is the shirt for today. It just says girls, 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 girls. And right at the bottom, girls with ellipses. Because honestly, that's a mood. And I said I'd show you the back. Let me show the back. Is this gonna work? I know it's like, it's mirrored, but just imagine that it's not. It says, boys, 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 and ... at the end. And honestly, what better way to like sum up and just broadcast like on a billboard the typical thoughts that go through my head on any given day, you know? I like this because you could consider it like a reversible shirt. I mean, there's a tag. There is an actual tag at the back here. So it'd be kind of weird to have that at the front. But if you like cut it off, you could pretty easily just swap this around whenever you wanted to like have one particular boy or girl at the front. And so for me, I'm happy to just wear it as is because, you know, you guys know me. Like, I don't think I could possibly make it more obvious that, yeah, that my tastes are wide, and the same goes for my proclivities. But anyway, I've been well, and I hope you guys have been fantastic. And yeah, today we're just gonna shoot the shit like we normally do. I've got my water bottle here. That's dented. I don't know how that happened. And so that means I'm ready to talk all night, baby. Though I have noticed, like, in starting up these streams again, my voice has felt those effects. Like, you guys probably hear it at the end of each stream. I'm like talking like this because it's like my voice is fatigued. But it's been good to like get back into training that, because it's a really handy skill to have, to be able to talk for a long stretch of time without your voice getting too fatigued. It's literally like a muscle. And so I'm here to get that training in. It's like going to the gym, but for your mouth. Don't quote me on that. And yeah, ask your opinions on massages, because literally they're high up there in terms of my favorite things in the world. Pretty close to like sleeping in and milkshakes, caramel milkshakes in particular. So yeah, it is wildly self-indulgent though. That's the only thing. So I don't actually get them as often as I would like in my imagined dream / fantasy world. I probably get them in truth like a few times a year, special occasions, you know? And in the meanwhile, I just complain about it and sometimes like coerce my friends maybe into like a little shoulder rub or something like that. But yeah, it's like surprisingly, what's the word? I want to say holistic, but maybe that's not the word I'm looking for. It feels like it kind of clears the pathway. Like once you get the tension kind of melted and kneaded out of you, it kind of feels like it literally improves your HP in all other areas as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, they are pure pleasure. I totally agree, without any drawbacks, especially if you've got a good masseuse. Like, I know that there can be varying levels of good massages. Like you can have a good massage or a really good one or an exceptional one. But it's in the same vein as like pizza, for example. Like even bad pizza is still pretty good, as long as, you know, the person who's massaging you is a trained professional and they're not accidentally fucking just like, you know, making things worse. That's not what you want. But yeah, I was going to say was that I think that sometimes, like if you've had a mental like kind of blockage or some issue that's been going on for a while and it doesn't seem to be like unfolding or untangling with purely mental attempts, like deep thinking, introspection, talking it out, even writing it down, sometimes almost counterintuitively, but really not that counterintuitively at all, it may take some physical like adjustment to help bolster the mental side of things. And so that's kind of what I was trying to explain quite poorly before, because like I felt as soon as I was like done with the massage, I felt clear-headed and like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed I've been, despite being drenched in oil. Like, you know, I felt, yeah, like unblocking that flow, if you believe in that kind of thing. I mean, I'm I reserve the right to defer to the question mark. But like I felt like I could think a little bit more clearly. I felt like a lot of the random weird anxieties that had kind of just been hanging about for no particular reason, it just kind of melted away as they should, right? And so I know it's not feasible for everyone to always just get a massage at the drop of a hat whenever they feel like it. But there are like small ways you can incorporate that kind of physical healing, if you want to call it that, into your daily life. 100% believe that. Even if it's just like on your own, like I was saying yesterday about like when I squeeze my wrists and kind of like, you know, help the bones and joints and stuff like feel like they've released some tension. Or you can get a friend or a family member to see if they'll oblige and like, you know, give you a little massage. Or even like some people do this thing where they lie on the ground and take something like a tennis ball. I don't have anything really to demonstrate around me. But they'll just like lie on the tennis ball and kind of just like see if they can work something out that way. And I honestly think it's worth the silliness of it and it's worth the hassle. That's my opinion. Because it's so helpful. It really does go both ways, in my opinion. Yeah. And so, welcome into our first time chatters. You should be a vampire. Thank you very much. I might just suck your blood if you're not careful. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where I honestly believe sometimes we don't even realize how tense we are until the tension is drawn to it. And then, like, all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, I'm aware of my body now. And there's some lingering aches and pains, and we don't have to carry those with us through our day. And that was helpful to me, just that reconnecting with the various like bits and pieces of us, you know. It can feel a little bit disconnected at times. And so I was really grateful to my masseuse. Her name was Lydia, if I'm not mistaken. And she did such a good job. She was somehow able to be very gracious about the fact that like every 2 seconds I would kind of like jolt up and like just kind of sigh and, you know, tense up. And so, yeah, she was very gracious about that. And she didn't laugh too much. She would just kind of be like, does that hurt? And I'm like, no, it's just ticklish. And so, yeah, she did a really great job. The scalp massage was so good. Oh, God. It's like when you go to the hairdresser and they wash your head. And that's like always the best part, right? And I'm usually sitting there like clutching the armrest, trying not to moan. Just like trying to behave. And so, yeah, that was just the best part. And I was surprised actually by how tender some of the spots on my head actually were. Like spots kind of like around the temple, if that makes sense. Like she was kind of pressing and rubbing and I was like, oh, that kind of hurts, you know? Like there's something there, like some muscle knots or whatever. I don't know what it's called. And so as she was kind of working them out slowly, there was like this slow, just relaxation, utter relaxation. And I'm sure as soon as I came out of that like little tent that I was in, I looked so, I don't know, like out of it. Just like dazed and glazed. Glazed with oil. They did try and like get most of the oil. Like they kind of brush you with a warm towel afterwards. But then of course when it comes to hair and stuff, you can't really do much except just have a shower when you get home, which I haven't done. Hence why the Widow's Peak is Widow's Peaking right now, more so than usual. But yeah, Red Hood Venom, thank you so much for saying hi. I hope you have a wonderful day at work if that's possible. Who knows, we may still be here by the time you get back. Or maybe tomorrow. We'll see how we go. I'm not even sure what oil they used. I saw the bottle in the corner of the room, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I was kind of just like trying not to be too awkward about the fact that I was like stripping and getting onto a table. But it was scentless, odorless, and they also put like my masseuse put hot stones on my back to start things off, and I was a little bit like surprised by that. Not unwelcome though, and it was just hot enough to be like, oh shit, but not too hot that it was painful. And so, yeah, that was really nice. And then the massage that she did at the back of the neck, holy crap. I was like, I feel like I literally just got taller from whatever she was doing. She was like literally stretching me out that way. And so I didn't realize, oh, I must have such a bad neck posture from all the time I spend on my phone or on my computer. It is the kind of the plague of our modern time. And so whatever she did, because it was partly with the stones and it was also partly with just her hands and her fingers, it was like just this stretching and pulling motion that I literally felt like I had gained some extra height. Yeah, like dough in a bakery. And so it was just so good. And I immediately, and I know this is bad, I know it's bad, but I just immediately felt that greedy urge to ask for another hour. Like, please don't stop. And so we'll see how long I can refrain from going back. Because yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you kind of forget how good it is. And then by the time you get to it again, you're like, ah, shit, yeah, I can't forget this now. And so anyway, I should have asked for another hour, but I couldn't swing it. And I knew my brother, like he was like in the kind of room, like tent thing next to me, if that makes sense. Also, do you guys just see that? There's always a fucking co-host flying around. My brother was in the tent room / thingy, whatever you'd call them, next to me. And he also had the same amount of time. So like, oh, I might as well just, enjoy this together and then like continue with our day. I think he did enjoy it as well. Like he's a kind of person who's pretty, like, how do I describe this? He's tall and he's muscly and he's strong. So it's hard for people like me, for instance, if I were to try and actually massage him myself, like massage his shoulders or whatever, or even like his wrists, like it won't really do that much, if that makes sense. Like the pressure that I can exert is completely pitiful in comparison to like an expert, a professional masseuse. And so I felt like it was extra good for him because like it was a kind of therapeutic focused attentions that he could potentially only really get there. And so I felt happy for him for that reason and a little bit sad for him at the same time because I realized, oh yeah, like, my aunties and my mom, my dad, like they can very easily kind of like work out some of the muscle knots in my shoulders and sometimes even in my legs because I used to get really bad leg cramps when I would back in the day when I used to be so bold as to do like runs around the block and stuff like that. I get visible cramps in my legs. And so my mom would just kind of help me smooth them out a little bit. And so I realized, oh, they can't really do that for my brother. He's bigger than them. Like he's literally bigger and stronger and whatever touch they can apply, it's like not going to really make a difference. And so I was happy that he got the chance essentially to be soothed in that way too. And yeah, the professional masseuse like technique, the amount of pressure that they can somehow exert, even though they look quite waifish a lot of the time. Like the masseuse that I had, she was just like this tiny, like short, thin, like quite delicate looking lady. And I was like, all right, let's see how we go. And she was going in and she was like, tell me if you want me to go softer or harder. And I was like, you're doing great. That's perfect. Just exactly how you're going. That's fine. And like, there were times where I was actually trying not to wince, not because it was bad, but because it was intense, exquisite, like we were talking about yesterday. And so I knew that the best, like, the sweet spot for me is when it kind of hurts just a little tiny bit, just a little tiny bit. And so I didn't want her to think that I wanted her to be more gentle. So I was trying not to make the wincing too obvious. Just kind of be like, that's good. I swear to God, I'm not a masochist, even though it makes it sound like I make it sound like I am. And you know what? Maybe I have to put a pin in that. But it's funny because I'm literally in general life the complete opposite. I'm such a creature of comfort. I like my luxuries. I like my little routines and my habits. And if I had to admit it, some of the finer things in life, most of the time accidentally, let's be real. And so it's in this one instance where I think that little something, that streak of something comes out. And so, yeah, it's all about the right moves. It's so true. And I was actually telling my brother this, like afterwards. We actually went walking through the shopping mall and we got donuts and stuff. It was a really nice little date that we had. I was describing the experience as kind of like the masseuse was listening to my body. And so, like, if she would kind of work over a specific spot that would make me flinch or jump, like, she'd kind of notice that and either continue working it in a different way or just like keep going until the flinching slowly eased up and it kind of just, the knot disappeared. And so it's like, that's what you want from a masseuse, not someone who's just going like kind of by the book, essentially, of like, neck, shoulders, each arm, each hand. Like, even before we started, she was like, oh, is there any one place in particular that you feel the most tense? Like, do you want me to work on like your shoulders? And I was like, just everywhere, really. And so it really did feel like a bit of a dialogue, and the times where I'd like start laughing or whatever, like she would also take that into consideration. And so it was nice. And yeah, I think that's really at times the difference between a good massage and a great one. It's like bespoke. And yeah, I felt like I could see why this place was pretty highly rated, because we specifically went to one of the best places in like the shopping mall, because I know the quality is already kind of capped when you're going to a shopping mall in general. So we just kind of tried to go for the best one that was in our area kind of available. And so I could see why. I think it earned its stripes, absolutely. And so, yeah. Ariella, hello. It is so good to be back. Thank you for the warm welcome. I hope you've been well. And I'm sorry for my absence, but I can't wait to make up for it now. We've been making up for it, actually, streaming multiple days in a row. That's unheard of. And yeah, just reconnecting with everyone. If there's anything in particular that I missed and really, really need to know about, please let me know. But for now, it's just been easing back into things and setting up my new computer, which is still an ongoing process. Like right now, I'd say it's about 50-ish% set up. Don't quote me on that though. And so, yeah, new computer. I should like take a picture and send it to you guys. Put in the Discord or something. But it's nothing too like crazy. It's just like a couple new little bits and bobs and a more streamlined setup. And so, yeah. Massages sound like a once a month thing at least. I wish. I honestly think that, if I were rich, like rich, there wouldn't be many signs, but there would be a few. And so that would be one of them. Just like massages whenever I wanted. And honestly, $100 an hour, that's a pretty fair price, I would say. But it is a luxury. Like, it shouldn't be, but it is. And so, yeah, I feel like definitely more frequently than I used to, which is like a few times a year, but maybe not as frequently as I would like. Maybe once a blue moon. So, I was actually considering whether or not I should like actually wash up before starting this stream, because like, gotta like be presentable, man. Like, at least somewhat presentable. But then I was asking myself, hang on, is this a form of productive procrastination? Like, is this busy work right now? Or is it genuinely like life-threateningly essential? And I was like, no, it's not life-threateningly essential. And so I was like, okay, then sit your ass down and press start streaming. So that was kind of the process. Though, yeah, one could argue it is life-threateningly essential when the alternative is looking like this. So, Arella says there was a PAX meetup. Oh, that's very cool. Busy AF, but a great night, I can just imagine. And I should say also that I'm very grateful that like I've seen some of my like notifications and like Discord like groups that I'm in still being invited to things, even though like I may be a bit like pulled back. It's a very nice and gracious thing for people to do, because I know it can be frustrating to like constantly be reaching out to someone who's maybe a bit unavailable or who's got things going on. But you guys always seem to deal with it so perfectly, just holding space. And so I'm happy to like see if I can jump back in if you guys will still have me. So I'm not sure when the next meetup will be. But I'll do my best to rock up and just be like, hey guys, so what did I miss? Just try and avoid like, you know, people being like, who are you? I don't remember an Emmy Cherry. But yeah, Ariella, it's always good to see your name and imagine your beautiful voice. And so, how's your streaming been going? What have you been up to? Still doing like the karaoke nights and stuff like that. But yeah, I speaking of karaoke, I wanted to do some singing stuff. Like my ukulele is actually no, it's not there. Where is it? It's somewhere in this room, in this messy ass room, and that seems like a good opportunity. I actually, funnily enough, had my own song stuck in my head just before I started streaming, which is woefully self-centered. But it comes with the territory. So, yeah. Which one was it? One of the more recent Club Cherry songs. I'm a fool for the words. That one. Because I think the reason why it was stuck in my head was because I was trying to figure out how to actually end the phrase that I still haven't like finished. There's like a melody that trails off into nothing in that actual video because I couldn't resolve it. And so it's still just like question mark, question mark, question mark. And if you guys haven't seen the video, you don't know what I'm talking about, but maybe we'll watch it together at some point. Just a little song that I uploaded to my channel that was kind of like an insight into the process for me when it comes to making music, which is equal parts maddening and sometimes sheer dumb luck. Because I don't really go in with a plan like most things. I just pick up my guitar or the uke and start singing and see what happens. And sometimes, if I'm lucky, it will amount to something like postable or shareable. And other times it'll just kind of fizzle out. And so that song was one of those times where I just didn't know what to do with it. So like, I don't care just how bad you treat me, as long as you berate me sweetly, fool for the world, a flashbang in the pan, happily. Like, where is that supposed to go? I don't know. Up, down, left, right. I guess I'll just leave it as is. And so, yeah, just keep going. That's usually the best way to do it, because eventually you'll either just stumble across something that works, or you'll just give up. And so, you know, there's no shame in just trying out different things. And that's why a lot of the Club Cherry uploads are also very rough and raw. They're kind of just little, what do I call them? Like practice sessions or jam sessions, or like the behind the scenes of me trying to actually break a song, like come up with a song. And so a lot of the time, the parts in the middle, like I just keep it in the original video. Like when I'm like, oh no, that doesn't work. And that's just how it goes. Like it's literally the truth of the matter. And so I used to be embarrassed and cut those parts out. But now I'm just like, fuck it. This is me, you know? And so, yeah, I also don't even try to put those things in. Like they just kind of happen. Where I'm just like, I stop in the middle of a verse and I'm like, oh no, that doesn't really sound right. Let's try again. And so it sounds like it's trying to be candid, but it just really is candid. And so, yeah, fuck it, we bold type beat. And yeah, singing stuff like Smooth Operator, that's right. Smooth operator, Sade, Sade. Oh my lord. I don't know why that's such a trigger, you know? It's like such a... Elvis. Thank you, King Pong. I appreciate that very much. It's such an iconic song and it's like such an earworm. That's one song among a couple others that always just like make my ears perk up. Other little triggers, I can't think of any right now. Maybe Elvis ones, I don't know. Did you guys hear the Elvis alert as well? Because for some reason that still works. I don't know why that one in particular is like just the power of Elvis. So the follow alert is mute for some reason. But Elvis, nah, he's chill. Thank you guys for being so kind and generous. Even though I've been gone for a while, I'm here to stay. So, yeah, the ear twitching is funny because I actually can twitch my ears, but can I do it now? Can I show you guys? Like, is this gonna work? Wait, don't look at my eyebrows because that will give it away. God damn it, I'm usually better at that. Sometimes I can even make my glasses jump. Look at this, I'm so intellectual, guys. Like, wait. It's not working now. Of course it's not working now. Oh, just, imagine that it actually works. I think I have to be lying down in a certain way so I can kind of like, do that. Anyway. God, I'm actually kind of blind. Notice that my eyesight has been getting progressively worse. So, I think that's because I've been staring at screens for too long. But maybe it's just my fate to have increasingly thicker lensed glasses until I'm like, Poindexter stereotype. Oh god, it's that damn phone, it really is. It really do be like that, to be honest. Though I do think, yeah. You know how yesterday we were talking about Accutane and how it causes dryness, even like lasting after you finish taking it. I think that also contributed to my like consistent dry eyes and dry mouth, actually, which is so attractive, isn't it? But it's like something that on and off has kind of bugged me. And most recently, it's been my eyes. They've been really not happy with me. And granted, I haven't really been treating them right. I do stare at screens quite a bit. And I am quite an insomniac. So, it's like tomato, chicken or the egg type beat. But still, they've been protesting quite a bit to the point where previously I only needed to wear my glasses when looking at stuff pretty far away. Like in school, it was like if I was sitting at the back, I'd need glasses to see the whiteboard at the front of the room. But nowadays, I have to use my glasses to like see things at my computer. Which is not great. That's progression, but in a bad way. That's regression. And the thing is actually that I also hate wearing glasses. Not because I think it looks bad, pun unintended, but because, is this just me? My glasses kind of hurt me sometimes. Like, if I wear them for too long, the stem part, like this part, kind of rubs on the back of my ears, and eventually it starts feeling like it's been rubbed raw. And I think that's either because they're too small for me, like that's something that my brother suggested. He's like, see if you can get wider ones, you friggin' 5-head. I was like, okay, fair. But I think it may just be like, it's just a me thing, little cotton balls at the ends. It's so cute. What the hell? I might have to try that because I guess previously I'd never actually worn glasses for that long. It's just like little, like short stints, right? Thank you, Gremlin. Thank you, Gremlin, for following. I'd only had to wear my glasses like every now and then for a short period of time, so it didn't have the chance to start like rubbing raw in that way. But now wearing them like almost around the clock, unless I can get away with it, I've been noticing that it actually hurts. And so maybe I just do need an adjustment. I didn't realize my head had grown this way. And so, yeah, maybe the little cotton balls will be the next attempt at making things a bit more comfortable. Because I need them now. Like I actually do need them. And it's why like if you guys ever see me doing this or like if I'm squinting trying to read something, it's because I literally can't see. Like the words are blurry and it feels like sometimes how this camera looks when things go out of focus and I have to try to manually adjust the lens of my eyes, which is probably not great. You shouldn't strain. But yeah, it's just life. It's really just life. And I found a newfound like kinship with my mum, who always used to say this thing that made me laugh because I found it a little bit funny because she said that having glasses was her biggest regret. And like I don't laugh out of meanness, but it was just the way she said it made it sound so like dire. And to be honest, it is kind of a marker of a life well lived if having glasses is your biggest regret. You know what I mean? And so like I always had a little bit of a chuckle at that and found it kind of cute and endearing because it's just like I can't explain why. It was just funny to me. And then now I'm actually like, oh yeah, I kind of see what you mean. They do pretty much suck. And so like, yeah, I have a newfound empathy for our fellow glasses wearing people. And yeah, so she's been considering laser eye surgery. My cousin actually had that not too long ago. And as scary as it kind of sounds and as expensive as it can be, he was like, best thing I ever did, right? The only thing with my mum is that she's at this interesting age right now where for the longest time her script, like her actual eye prescription was in flux. So they couldn't actually sign off on her getting the surgery because they needed it to be stable for some amount of time for some reason. And now that it has kind of stabilized, they're like, well, you're at that age that there's a possibility that you may develop cataracts at some point in the future. And so we kind of should wait because it's not recommended to have like those like 2 surgeries if that is the case. And so she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place in that way because she kind of just has to wait and see, And she hates wearing glasses. She literally hates it. And I didn't really understand all that fully until recently. Now, I get you, Mom. I get you now. And it's hard because, like, my eyesight isn't even as far gone as hers is or my brother's. Oh, my God. If you guys saw my brother's glasses, it's literally like 2 Coke bottles type beat. And the scary thing is, last time I wore them, they were kind of actually looking pretty normal. And I was like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. But anyway, yeah, so their eyesight, they need to wear glasses literally 24/7, like their entire waking hours. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Because, like, I imagine it's annoying if you're, like, drinking something that's steaming hot and it fogs them up. Or, like, if you have to shower without them and you're kind of just like, I hope I don't slip and die. Like, I hope I grab the right bottle, you know what I mean? Or, like, if you're just lying down but not fully sleeping yet, trying to read in bed, for example, it would be quite annoying because they press and like, it's just an inconvenience. So let me say here and now that I have the utmost of like solidarity for our fellow glasses people. And laser eye surgery, if you can do it, it seems like a good option. I know there's been some scary stories that come out of that when the job has been done poorly, but that can apply to literally any procedure. If you go to if unfortunately, like, I don't want to blame the people that go there because they're expecting good service like they should. But if they happen to stumble into that unfortunate situation where the person isn't that skilled, that's bad. It often is quite irreversible. Like, you know what I mean? When you're playing with your eyes, like, they're very precious things. You don't want to you don't want to have any complications regarding your eyes. And so that's why just, I've been kind of thinking about it, kind of scared of it, having it on the back burner as a maybe a what if for some other time. Like in the future, if it really gets unbearable, if my script is like stable and I don't want to have to be doing this all the time or like, dealing with the the annoyingness of wearing glasses. We'll see. Yeah, thank you, Sea Locket. If I do it, I'll definitely tell you guys about it. And the cost as well. Like my cousin said, I think that it was some amount of thousands of dollars per eye. And I was like, really? They charge you per eye? I guess that kind of makes sense. But it's also a little bit funny. It's like, yeah, no shit, I want both eyes fixed. Like, oh yeah, fix one and just fuck the other one. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it just seems like they might as well just put it in a package deal. You know? Don't separate it out. I mean, sure, there's probably people with like differing issues eye to eye. But in general, if someone's getting the same thing done on both eyes, just don't even tell them. Just be like, yeah, the whole thing is this much. I think it takes some of the sting out of it, but that's just me. And so, yeah, I really do need to stop falling apart. You're right, Cody. It's like, it's the inevitable tide of life and aging. Even though I'm only 25, guys. If you can believe it. I swear it's true. Oh, God. Like, when I was in high school, I was in year 7, so 11 or 12, I could not even fathom what my life would be like at 25. I honestly, as grim as it sounds, I couldn't conceive of it. Like, I didn't think I would even get there because it was just outside the realm of my understanding, you know? And now that I'm here, I think I'm very grateful, of course. But I'm also a little bit, like, amused in a way. Because a lot of the things that you hear as a kid and maybe roll your eyes at do actually, they show up, you know, they kind of stumble upon you, or like they stumble across your doorstep and you start complaining about the same things that your parents complained about. And you're like, oh man, I'm just like them. So, you know, talking about the traffic, for instance, or talking about your achy bones and joints, or like, you know, talking about work and da-da-da. It's like, it's so stereotypical. I feel like such a cliche, but what can you do? That's life. That's life. And I guess it's better than whatever the alternative is. You know? And so, yeah, if you guys see me doing this, by the way, it's because there's some freaking fly that always seems to only show up when I'm streaming. It's like he wants to steal the spotlight. And so, anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, it is a privilege to grow older, you know, and that's why I think I hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be able to embrace some of those signs of aging. Fucking flies, right? Fucking there. Embrace it without too much like freaking out about it. You know what I mean? Because like I literally, you guys can't really tell now, I don't think, but I started going gray in high school, like probably 17. And so it's one of those things where I'm like, you know, not everyone actually gets the privilege of growing older. Not everyone has the chance. And I'm like, all right, if the cost of that immense privilege is little things like gray hairs and wrinkles and whatever else may follow, then I think so be it. It's a fair, very fair transaction. And so, of course, a lot of that can be like, I guess, changed if someone feels the need to. But for me, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of having that silver fox look, you know? Yeah, it's surprisingly common, actually, people going gray in high school. My mom told me the story of someone at her high school who had a full-on head of gray hair by the time they graduated. And I was like, damn, that's pretty intense. And so sometimes it's like a sign of a nutritional or vitamin thing. Other times it's just pure genetics. My mom was like, yeah, it happened to me too. I had gray hairs in high school. It's kind of a thing in our family. And so I'm like, so it's your fault. But yeah, it's cool. And I think it's kind of, it's almost endearing in a way. It's like something unique about a person that can really just, become a point of like, what's the word? Like a reason for like loving and appreciating them, as opposed to loving them and appreciating them despite those things, you know? And so, yeah, it's something that I hope I'll be able to maintain that like opinion as those signs become more visible. But I can't say for sure. I can only hope. So right now it's okay because you can't really see them, you know? You can in person, actually, especially the temples. One thing that has bothered me a lot, and this, I don't know if this is to do with aging or if this is to do with something else, but my actual hairline has been pestering me probably since COVID, actually. Because against my own wishes, it has been thinning right at the front. So you can kind of see, like, there's gaps here and there's gaps here. It's more pronounced because, like I said, I got oil dumped all over me today, and I haven't had a chance to wash it out. But even when I'm just out of the shower and, like, I dry my hair and everything, like, the kind of the hairline is not hairlining in the way that I would like. And I don't know if that's just a thing that's like, you know, that's what you get, Emmy. That's your kind of the cards that you've been dealt, or if it's from something like getting COVID or getting sick. Because I noticed when I did get COVID the first few times, it snuck up on me a few months later where my hair would start falling out massively, like in clumps, and get quite thin as well. And it almost seemed like as soon as like the hair would grow back and start coming back to life, I'd get sick again, and it was a horrible cycle. There's this thing that happens sometimes if you do get particularly ill, where it's like a delayed effect. Months and months later, all of a sudden your hair just starts falling out, and a lot of the time people forget, like, oh, why is this happening now? Like, they don't realize it's from something like even trauma that happened maybe 6 months ago. And so it can be quite confronting. And so I've been dealing with this for ages, and it's something that is probably one of my current insecurities, I would say. Like, you know how yesterday we were talking about things that we've done or things that we'd change about ourselves, or like aesthetics wise and cosmetics wise. I don't really know how to fix that besides just going to Turkey and getting 5 fucking hair plugs instead of like 5 million. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a small like patch of stuff to worry about, because it is right in the middle and right in the front. It seems to me, at least, to draw my own eye, with especially the contrast, like the dark hair, pale skin combination. And so it's like, it's really not it's not that important, to be honest. But it is one of those things that's just like, a little like weird wriggly feeling. I'm like, if I could change that, I probably would. Yeah, I probably could color it in. Like, I know some people have like hair makeup. Like, sometimes people even take eyeshadow and they kind of just like color it in, especially if someone has a really pale skin and a really pale scalp. And I can see myself potentially needing to do that if it's like a really special event. But in general, I think succumbing to that in my daily life would be a sign of something, like a sign of something deeper, you know? And so, yeah, I'm hoping that eventually my hair, that it will, first of all, not get thinner and fall out even more, but that maybe it will come back a bit more to life. Because, you know, I've also had varying like ups and downs with my own health, various deficiencies, like especially with iron and stuff. But I've been working on that, and I've been actually pretty good recently in correcting some of those. And I have high hopes for the future. But yeah, we'll have to see how we go. Because, I don't know, I think it wouldn't be too bad if I actually went completely bald, because then I could wear a wig. But I think, like, if it just continued to, like, get patchier and patchier, I'd start feeling quite self-conscious. And so, yeah. Yeah, the Turkey thing for, like, plastic surgery and hair transplants is kind of a meme, but I don't know. It's, like, apparently it's, like, the go-to spot. And so, I can't say. I've never been myself. But if I do need those 5 hair plugs, maybe I should book a trip. Oh, God. I say 5 because it's, like, literally the smallest patch of hair. Like, the smallest patch right there. And I could probably, like, style it so it's not so obvious. But isn't that just kind of, like, the smaller version of a comb over? Like, I don't want to go down that path, guys. I'm not ready for that path yet. And so, yeah. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on the very, very, very no doubt important hair chronicles of Emmy. Like, I know you guys are all dying to hear about these vain, like non-important woes, but what can I say? I'd be untruthful if I said that I didn't think about stuff like that every now and then, especially in a medium like this. Like constantly looking at ourselves. I've got like two of me, one on either screen, and looking back on the VODs and like listening back to my own voice. It's like too much me. There's too much me right now. I don't want so much me. Like that's yeah, that's the issue. I have sympathy. I can see the perspective of people that choose to like VTube. Is that the word for it? Like use avatars instead of their actual like selves, because it's like, I don't know, it just seems less fatiguing in a way. Yeah, the hair chronicles, it really is, it's a whole saga. It's like something we talk about almost every stream. And yeah, I have actually had a few different hair chronicles in my life. I've had all different kinds of hairstyles and colors. Right now I'm taking the lazy girl approach, which is just to let it grow and not really touch it too much. Because I think it feels like the most me, at least right now, you know? Because it's fun to have pink hair or bleach blonde hair, which I have done before. It's fun to have a pixie cut and like the various awkward growing out stages. But this is my natural color and just kind of like the natural texture of my hair, more or less. I do blow dry it and stuff. So it's kind of me, you know what I mean? And that's something that I've been trying to like value a bit more, if that makes sense. Because even though in my art and stuff like that, in writing and stuff, I do value decadence and artifice because they're fun and playful and a little bit saucy. In general, like in my actual daily life, yeah, there is something nice about that natural feeling. Like, there's a way to describe this that's not meant to like be judgmental towards people who choose like to, you know, change their appearance in any way they see fit. But it's like there's an effortlessness to it that I appreciate because I'm quite lazy. You know? Like I think ideally I want to be as low maintenance as possible while also still like kind of meeting some threshold of kind of aesthetic satisfactoriness for my own like self, you know? And like that sometimes means that I'll be temporarily high maintenance to be low maintenance in the long term, which we've talked about before as well. So like laser hair removal, for instance, because I fucking hate shaving. Or what's something else? Like purchasing a red light therapy device so I can just use it lazily once a day or every second day and just like hope that it's doing something good. And that's kind of been the thing for a while. High maintenance in the short term to be low maintenance in the long term. And it served me well, I think. I'd like to believe. But it doesn't work for everyone. And some people certainly, I imagine, enjoy like the cool, fun, like exciting, playful side of being high maintenance, you know? Like nails, hair, going to the salon and all that stuff, going shopping and all that. Like that sounds fun. Even like massages and stuff, I think that probably falls under that category. So I'm definitely no stranger to it. But I'm just too lazy, man. Like I want to sit back and chill and relax. And so the middle point between like aesthetics and comfort, I try and find that. Yeah, the lazy gang, that's exactly it. And I feel like, you know, there is, how do I explain this? There is a laziness that can kind of skirt by. I can kind of skirt by on. You know? I just feel like it's been working so far. So, like braces as well, I think. But anyway, I'd say I'm relaxed right now, relatively. As relaxed as I can be while streaming. But yeah, I think it's like it's one of those things where as soon as you start thinking about it, it like all of a sudden you're not relaxed. And so I can only answer with a tentative kind of. But yeah, this is generally how I would just like lounge about when I'm not streaming. Like if I'm typing at my computer, maybe my posture is a bit worse, if you can believe it. And I'm probably singing a lot more and like just saying, like thinking half out loud and half in my head. Like this is just an example of what things would be like if I were actually just on my own right now. Okay, let me give you a little demonstration. So, pretend I'm like at my computer. I'm just like, Oh, but then she said that, so. Oh, okay. And then I'll just like break out into song, like just halfway, like just randomly. I'll be like, also don't know if you can hear me typing, by the way. I'll be like, no need to ask you, smooth operator. And just like remix it with some other random song, like, I don't wanna feel, I don't wanna cry, so I'll keep on dancing till I feel alright. Be like, wait, what song is that? Like get distracted from what I'm doing. Be like, oh wait, what song is that? Lady Gaga. Oh, okay. Wait, mayhem. What's the meaning of mayhem? Synonyms for mayhem. Chaos and disorder. And all of a sudden it's been 2 hours and like I'm knee deep in fucking the dictionary instead of like doing my actual work. And so that's kind of how it happens. Maybe a little bit more unhinged than that. That was kind of a tame recreation. And yeah, it'd probably be like have some video on in the background of the mystery crush or various other crushes in my life, you know? So yeah, a lot more singing, a lot more random thoughts that are half out loud, half in my head. Yeah, it's basically the same as the way I'm on stream, but more unhinged? I don't know. Is that possible? Yes, it is. And the faces. Oh my god. The faces, guys. There are a lot of them. Like, trying to think of the best way to explain this. It's almost like the amount of faces that are pulled and the intricateness of them all. I don't even need to be talking out loud. You can just tell exactly what I'm thinking, you know? And a lot of the time they happen without me noticing. Like, you know what I mean? So if I'm really deep in thought, I'll literally be doing like a stereotypically comical, like thinking face. You know what I mean? Like I'll be at my computer, like without a shred of like joking around. Like this just literally the thinking face, you know? Or like if I'm curious, being like, you know? And a lot of the time, I think the people in my life who are closest to me, who know me quite well, they can just read my fucking mind, or at least that's how it feels, because they can see it on my face. And I think that's simultaneously a nice quality to have. Like, I don't think I would change it. But also a bit of a, how would I explain it? Embarrassing one? A vulnerable making one? Because sometimes you don't want your thoughts to be broadcasted to everyone in the fucking 5-mile radius, you know? Especially if they're thoughts you'd rather keep to yourself. But yeah, I think a lot of those faces can sometimes be a bit not ugly, that's the wrong word, but unconventional. And so when I am streaming, sometimes I try and tone it down, though it comes out in my eyes and my eyebrows a lot. But when I'm by myself, it's even worse. Like, I can't even get into the headspace to recreate it, but it would be something like I need to start feeling that emotion so I can recreate it. Like if something made me indignant or frustrated, for example, I'd be like, you know what I mean? Like that, that extreme. And so when I'm streaming, I try and contain that fucking whatever the fuck that is. And when I'm not streaming, it's fully unleashed. And so that would be the main difference. Like if I didn't realize that I was being recorded, for instance, that would be the majority of what you guys would see. Like, you know, just me silent or half silent at my computer, singing terrible karaoke and making faces that no one should ever see with their own eyes. And yeah, Kichi's Corner is absolute proof of that as well. Because some of those faces have been pulled for dramatic effect, but a lot of them have just been me in the moment looking like that. You know what I mean? Like there's just the unfortunate circumstance of the matter. And so I hope one day I won't be as self-conscious. And that's something that I want to work on in this new phase because, again, it is the one thing that I admire most in some of my biggest crushes, like the Mystery Crush, for example. The amount of faces that he's pulled and noises that he's made that I think would probably embarrass a normal person. I say that with love, by the way. Like, it's admirable to me. It's like, okay. It feels like he's committing to something, whether it's the bit, the joke, or just like the truth of the matter, which is also very important to me. Like, he's not letting his desire to be seen any type of way interfere with that. And I really fucking vibe with that, even if I can't recreate it as much on my own, you know? And yeah, sometimes those things never fully go away. I agree with that. But they can be worked on, especially if there's that drive or like that willingness. And so if you guys see me making increasingly weird faces, it's not that I'm trying to put them on unless I explicitly say that. I'm just trying to be more myself. And so, yeah. Eventually you guys, like the friends I have in my real life, will be able to read my mind in that way. And know exactly what I'm thinking. I won't even have to say anything. And so, yeah. Oh, gosh. It's okay if you've lost track. It's really a stream of consciousness. So you just like dip in and out of the track as it comes and goes. You know, sometimes I lose track as well. But yeah. Anyway. What else? What else was I going to say? I'm just so relaxed from the massage. It's like it took all my thoughts away too. The topic is no topic. It's a show about nothing, like Seinfeld. But yeah. The Mystery Crush is very good at sacrificing his dignity. No, that's not the right word. Sacrificing his prettiness and handsomeness to bolster a joke, you know? And so I want to see if I can like steal some of that dedication. Because to me, it's the equivalent of what we were talking about yesterday about finding the absolute truth in a poem. Like, it's like finding the absolute truth in a joke, or even, it doesn't have to even be that funny, but like the truth in a statement or a feeling. If the truest version of my feeling about something is this face, then like, I feel like I should make that face instead of trying to make it more palatable, which is something that I think I often default to. Because it's like it's ingrained in all of us to want to be seen as relatively sane and normal and be liked and hopefully desired. So I'm unlearning some of the more rigorous and like tightly constraining like parts of that. So if it makes you guys laugh, I think that's on the right track. But it always boils down to just finding the truth of something, you know? And so Yeah, sane is maybe asking for a bit much, but you know, I think I can count on like the people who get it. Like if you get it, you get it. You know? Um I can count on the people that know me to understand that. And so, yeah. Interesting. Interesting conversation, guys. Very interesting. Um Sorry. Another thing I'm trying to work on is like to be comfortable in those pauses. It's still deeply uncomfortable to have even a split second of silence. But um you know, I'd love for you to be one of the people who gets me, Emmy. I hope I get you, at least to the extent that can be achieved through a medium like this. Like, there's something quite special, I think, that happens with that consistent hanging out and getting to know each other. It's the culmination of all those hours and shared sentiments. It's quite sweet. And a lot of the friendships that I made online, not just here, but like across the board, have been really, really not just special, but like profound. Sometimes more so than people that I've met in person. And so, yeah, I'd like to believe I get you guys to some extent. I mean, there's obviously always going to be that level of something in between, because that's just the nature of something like this, Twitch streaming and stuff like that. But in general, I think we all tend to have pretty we tend to get each other on a more implicit level, which is nice. 20-second silence. I could do it, but it would be agonizing. That's the thing. Like, I think I have to learn how to be comfortable with it, and I don't know how to do that, as opposed to just like doing it and being uncomfortable. Like even right now, I'm trying really hard. And that reminds me, I need to get my timer set up. Because it's not set up on this computer, I have to do it manually. So, okay, ready? Let's try 20 seconds. Are you guys ready? I'm not. Okay. Was that as agonizing for you as it was for me? Oh, God. I mean, that was kind of cheating because having an activity to do while you're not talking is a little bit, you take some of the pressure off because you're still doing something. But, oh, it's still just enough to make me cringe. If you guys like that, then that's fantastic. We'll do it again sometime. Oh, gosh. And yeah, I agree. If you're real with everyone, then every relation is profound. So true. And really the best part of that is the knowledge that you are doing your own soul justice in a way, you know? There's this poem that I'm hesitant to repeat because I'm absolutely going to butcher it, but it was like it was saying something about how like the worst part is like to get to the end of your life and realize that you've betrayed yourself for nothing. And of course that can be interpreted in a million different ways, but to me I think about that as like at the end of your life, if you took stock of everything that happened, everything you said and did and all the events that occurred, like would you feel proud? Would you feel happy? Would you feel like you did your soul justice? You know? Or did you betray yourself for nothing? It's quite harsh, but it can be helpful in a way to be like, oh, actually, yeah, maybe I don't need to hold on to this stuff that isn't serving me, that I'm just kind of carrying with me because I assume that I have to, you know? I'd feel happy. That's fantastic. That's a sign that you're on the right track. And I think as long as you can keep in touch with that sense of happiness and like that that through line, then what else could you need, you know? For me, it's a bit of a sine wave. It goes up and down. And I guess surprising no one, I can be prone to melodrama as well. So depending on what's going on in my life, I can either be like, damn, I'm doing so good. I'm on the right track and I'm loving life. I'm living like Larry. And then other times I'm like, it's Jova. It's so Jova. This is it. This is really it. And it's never going to get better. And I'm just going to whatever comes after that. And so I have to, I usually have to steer myself back into, the balanced middle road, which is what I'm constantly trying for, to be honest. So Larry, living like Larry, that's that's a quote actually from SpongeBob. Oh gosh. The SpongeBob slipped out like it does. And so, yeah, I want to extend that question to you guys. Do you feel like you're on the right track? Hopefully no one feels like they've betrayed themselves for nothing. But even if someone out there might, the good news is that there's no hole so deep that you can't come back from it. Does that make sense? Like, you can get into trouble, you can mess up, you can find yourself in a difficult or like uncomfortable situation, but it's never hopeless. And that is it's a comforting thought to me, you know? You guys are on the right path. That's fantastic. It's like, it's such a beautiful feeling because it's like this understated feeling of security and safety. And if you have that, not much can rattle you, you know? It's unfortunate that a lot of people don't seem to have that feeling of like, oh yeah, I have a direction, I have a purpose here, like I matter, you know? And at times I've like felt that kind of wax and wane as well. So I'm happy for you guys. And yeah, King Pong, that quote is fantastic. You'll never see the violence it took to become this gentle. That's like, it's one of those old like maxims or quotes that really sticks with you. And there's a little bug flying about, just testing my patience. That bug will know the violence that it took to become this gentle in literally 2 seconds. There's a couple of other little sayings kind of similar to that really have stuck with me. We talked about them in the past few streams, but the one that goes like, wherever you go, there you are, is a great one. And honestly, kind of unsurprisingly, this is where a lot of the time poetry can really shine, because it takes those quotes and really like teases them out and offers some really great food for thought, right? A lot of the stuff by like Mary Oliver, for example, and even some of the stuff that I read to you guys ages and ages ago, like when I first started streaming, about what it means to be not just a person in the world, but like a writer in the world or an artist in the world. Like that stuff is really great life lessons as well as like functional artist lessons. And so I was planning to bring that back up again. The Annie Dillard thing. The draw Antonio thing. Curious. I wonder if I can find it online. Annie Dillard is such a legend. Oh, also I wanted to mention that I bought a book today. It was a book of collected plays from Oscar Wilde, including Salome, which I so adore, and some of the others that I hadn't read before, which I probably should have read, like The Importance of Being Earnest, and a couple of others in there that I can't remember now. But I'm so excited to get stuck into that. And let's see. Michael Fordet, do not get me started. That's hilarious. Well, I was going to answer something here. The simplest quotes can absolutely have so many layers to unpack. And that's when the power of a great writer can come through, because you can see and feel that every single word has been placed with precision and like with intent. And that's such a magical thing to be able to enjoy, you know? Like, as someone like personally who has trouble with concision generally, I mean, in speaking, of course, but often in writing too, when I get to see the polished, invisible work, of course, of writers who just like nail it with fucking 5 words or less, I'm always so impressed. And it's like, it's a difficult thing to do. It looks easy, but it's deceptive because it's like that shit probably took so long to get just right. And if you were to change any single word out of that little phrase, it would completely shatter the entire magic of it. And so there's a very delicate like operation happening in those workshops, you know, in the creations of those impressive little sayings and poems and stories. I have the quote here actually. It's a very shortened version of the big excerpt that I like to read to you guys, but I think it sums it up essentially. And this is from Annie Dillard, she's a fantastic writer who I love and adore. And the book is, or I guess this excerpt is from The Writing Life, which has appeared in a few different books. So I'll try to not be confusing about that because the book that I have is actually a series of collected essays. People like poetry if that's the case. I totally agree. I think so much of life is poetry, and people think that I'm crazy when I say that, but I will stand by it 100%. And I will absolutely share that on Discord. I can't remember if I already have, but it's worth repeating anyway. So this is the quote. It's related to writing, but hopefully this can help no matter what artistic discipline that you find yourself drawn to, or even just the general life and living that you find yourself drawn to. One of the few things I know about writing is this: spend it all, shoot it, play it, lose it all, right away, every time. Do not hoard what seems good for a later place in the book or for another book. Give it all, give it now. The impulse to save something good for a better place later is the signal to spend it now. Something more will arise for later, something better. These things fill from behind, from beneath, like well water. Similarly, the impulse to keep to yourself what you have learned is not only shameful, it is destructive. Anything you do not give freely and abundantly becomes lost to you. You open your safe and find ashes. After Michelangelo died, someone found in his studio a piece of paper on which he had written a note to his apprentice in the handwriting of his old age. Draw, Antonio, draw, Antonio, draw, and do not waste time. That quote, I've come a long way, guys, because I couldn't get through that quote in the past without breaking down into tears because it just means that much to me. I think maybe because this is like a shorter version, I can just get by, but I just felt exactly what she was talking about as I read, and I completely agree with what she's saying here. And it's funny because before I read this passage, I think this was something that one of my university lecturers sent to me, like not even my class, but she sent it to me in particular because I was having this exact discussion with her. I was like, I don't know if I should like save these poems for like a future collection or something like that. She sent me that like entire chapter and she was like, I think you might benefit from this. And as soon as I read it, it was like that fucking like flicking a switch light bulb moment where I was like, huh, okay, that just totally changed exactly how I see this very important thing. And in my experience, at least so far, since then, it's been absolutely true. Like that idea of like spending it all now, right now, don't wait, don't hoard, don't save, just put it all out there, because that idea of like the creative force or the creative process as this infinitely generative well of ideas. Like she says in the quote, these things fill from behind, from beneath like well water, is absolutely true. And it's only going to block the flow of things if you try and hold back and like save things for a different time for whatever reason, usually out of this this seemingly well-intentioned notion, but really it's more just like procrastination and fear of actually finishing something, you know? And like anytime I get that feeling of like, oh, maybe I should save this for later, or maybe I should like pull some of my punches, I think of this quote, and it's like that: draw, Antonio, draw, Antonio, draw, and do not waste time. It's like, it's so motivating, and it just like riles me up, and I think it's done a lot for my own productivity, you know? Like I have been, and I am still like the type to agonize and overthink, which is definitely not surprising. You guys could probably tell that. But to the detriment of my own process. Like, I could spend 5 hours agonizing over if I should write, or I could spend 5 hours actually writing. And so in those moments where I find myself being exceptionally silly like that, these quotes really shake some of the dust loose in a way. And I'm like, oh yeah, actually, you're right. It's quite like invigorating in that way. And that quote in particular, which I agree, Ariel, it's so wonderful, right? Annie Dillard has such a way with words. Like, that quote is such a great example of every word being placed with such precision and intention. And it's interesting because the quote itself is quite lush. And so that very last line, draw, Antonio, draw, Antonio, draw, and do not waste time. I understand that she's seemingly quoting someone, so she has to use the full sentence, but I couldn't actually find this supposed quote from Michelangelo when I tried to Google it. So all I can go off of is her word, which is fair. I'm going to believe her word. But when you think about the syntax or like the style of that quote, it's actually a little bit clunky. It says draw 3 times. Draw, Antonio, draw, Antonio, draw, and do not waste time. But the thing is, like, if you changed a single word of that, it just wouldn't have the same flow to it. And so something that seems maybe in terms of words unnecessary becomes totally necessary in terms of like the prosody of it, like the sound of it and like the rhythm and the poetry of it, even though this isn't poetry. It's just very poetic prose. And so that phrase, draw and do not waste time, has like stuck with me, and I am still prone to wasting time, I will admit, but I think it's cut down on the amount of time wasted by a fair bit, I would say. Definitely halved it, at least. You know, like, there's just, yeah, it's like a splash of cold water. And so I have Annie Dillard to thank for that. And also, there was another passage that I really, really liked, and it might have been from Maggie Smith, or maybe it was just a poem. Good Bones is the poem that I really like. And we're going to put on some lip gloss together as well. That'll be nice. This poem that I always come back to, and I wish I could... Can I show you guys this? It's because I'm on my personal account, because I haven't set up my streaming account yet, so it's kind of got some personal info on here, on like Google and stuff, and I don't want it to fucking dox me. But I can read it to you, at least, while I put on lip gloss. How's this? It's like kind of galaxy themed, Fenty Beauty. This poem is a world-class favorite of mine. I've read it to you guys before, but it's like, it's one of those things that doesn't get old. You know what I mean? It's like it's like getting a hug from a loved one. It's like, you wouldn't be like, oh, I've already had a hug. You know what I mean? Like, it's just welcome every single time. And so if you guys haven't heard this before, then you're in for a treat. If you have heard it before, then hopefully it is a welcome re-listening. Again, another one of those poems that I find it personally difficult to get through because it does just make me emotional. And I think that's usually my tell for if something has connected with me in that way. Like if I feel that stinging, like kind of up my waterline, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. It's got me. It's got me in its clutches. And so this is one of those poems, absolutely. But first, let's do this. And I'm so sorry. Is the camera fucking out of focus? Tell me that it's not, please. What if I zoom in? Okay. Is that out of focus? Because I know when I reach forward, it focuses in and then like come back and it's like, okay. Does it look better? I zoomed in a little bit. I don't wanna feel, I don't wanna cry, so I'll keep on dancing till I feel right. Why do my eyes look so weird when I look to the side? Is it because I need to wear my glasses? It looks fine to you, Rika? Okay, perfect. I can't trust maybe it's my eyes that are fucking blurry. Goddamn. Also, I'm pretty sure this is like a spicy It's a spicy one. You'll keep me updated, guys. If my lips start to take up the entire screen, let me know. I watch on 480p. Is that true? I hope that's a flattering, like it just squishes all the pixels down, so it's a free filter. Okay. Good Bones by Maggie Smith. And again, this is like one for the ages. Let me make sure I can actually read this. I want to also get your opinion on this, guys, because this is kind of like a bittersweet poem. Like for me, it's a hopeful poem, but I can definitely see this melancholic like through line. And so let me know after we listen to it together. So, and hello, it's me, very handsome. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Good Bones by Maggie Smith. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible, and for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I'm trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor, walking you through a real shithole, chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. Oh, I get chills. And it is quite a depressing image, right? Like of the kind of the ugly realities of the world. This is Maggie Smith, yeah. But that there's a hopeful tone right at the end about like this place could be beautiful, right? Like the asking, like the affirmation seeking, right? You could make this place beautiful. And I honestly am getting choked up right now. I honestly think that's true. We can. And oh no, I don't think this is the Harry Potter Maggie Smith. I think this is a different Maggie Smith, but they share the same name. And so it's like one of those things where you feel the hopeful desperation, like the wanting to believe that is true, that we can make this place beautiful. Because, it's got good bones, like the realtor walking through the shithole. And I think that the knowledge of the ugly reality should not deter us from the attempts to make it more beautiful and better, you know? I think that, at least for me, I have to believe that we can make it more beautiful, because otherwise thinking or believing the alternative is kind of sad, you know? And so that's one that stuck with me, and it's also got a very interesting way of like putting words together. 1,000 delicious ill-advised ways. It's funny because she doesn't mention which ill-advised ways, but you can kind of imagine, right? Maybe smoking, drinking, all the vices that we humans love. And it leaves a lot left up to the imagination, which is, I think, it's a masterstroke, because you only have a limited amount of space on the page. If you're writing poetry, you're working with this economy of language. So what are you going to do? You have to make sure that every single word is packing the punch, especially if you're repeating words. Like in this poem, the line 1,000 delicious ill-advised ways is kind of repeated, right? And you have to assume that's for a reason, right? The reason being to highlight how delicious and ill-advised those ways must have been, even if they're not explicitly stated. And so a different Maggie Smith to the one you guys are probably familiar with Harry Potter, but same name, which is kind of cool. And yeah, mixing the reality of the world with inner doubt and need of affirmation. Yeah, it's like, it is a very bittersweet, but I think ultimately hopeful idea, you know? Holding out faith to pass on the most beautiful parts of the world to our children, like collectively, you know? And so Maggie Smith is great. She also wrote the poem that everyone pretty much knows, where it's like, you do not need to be good, you do not need to walk on your knees, like through the desert, or however it goes. Is it good? Walk through the desert? I have to find this. One sec. Was it Maggie Smith? Or was that someone else? Sorry guys, I'm in my own world right now. You do not need to be good poem. She is amazing. Oh, Mary Oliver is another one. Wild Geese. Mary Oliver's fucking amazing. And so, let's see. Florida guy, welcome in. And yes, I did take a little bit of a break, but we're back and better than ever. So I'm so glad to have you. And yeah, we're just doing a bit of poetry right now. Hope is a discipline that needs to be taught. That is perfect, and such a beautiful, succinct, poetic way to put that. Without optimism in the wasteland, why live? Beautiful, and I couldn't agree more. I know a lot of people see that poem as almost a defeatist kind of ode, and I do not agree with that. I don't think, at least, that's what it inspires in me. It inspires in me a sense of hopefulness, an understanding of the complexity of the world. Like, yeah, it can be pretty fucked up at times. For every bird, there is a bird, and there's a stone thrown at a bird. And still, this place is absolutely worth fighting for, you know? And discipline can never be forced, but it can be taught. Yeah, I think that's a really good distinction, because when it comes to discipline, or like passing on lessons, especially to children who are vulnerable and open and sensitive, like attempting to use force to make someone, like, to kind of impart your will often goes terribly wrong, you know, because it's just not the way, essentially. And I wish I could be more articulate than that, but I think it just pushes people away, especially children, if they don't understand why or how. If they don't feel like they're being respected, and they're just being kind of like, yeah, controlled and programmed, it can be hard to inspire the actual giving of a single fuck, you know? And so when it comes to discipline and stuff like that, and when it comes to teaching lessons and passing on lessons, it has to come from a different place, like a genuine sense of wanting to share, wanting to kind of enjoy all the good stuff, like we talked about yesterday, the experience, all the good stuff in the world, and not out of a sense of wanting to just like dominate and impose your will upon someone because you just assume that it's the right way and that you know best. Children especially, I think they deserve more than they get, if that makes sense. And, you know, some people kind of just think, oh, they're little kids, they don't know shit, like who cares, you know? For me, I'm like, maybe that's a reason why we should care a lot more than we do. Because they pick up on more than you might expect. Like, from a very young age. They're perceptive, and they're interested in the world, and they will readily kind of take in whatever it is that we teach them, for better or for worse. And so, you know, I take that seriously. And in the various times, like in school, for instance, or even the short stints that I had, like teaching in places or like being around kids in general, I tried to like treat them with the dignity and respect that I know that they deserve, the same kind that I maybe would have enjoyed at that age, and to like just let them be their weird, strange, silly, smart, perceptive selves, you know? Yeah, because they absolutely know. And a lot of the time their parents just don't really care, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to be too general, to be honest. But yeah, like there's so much untapped potential, at least, is what I see in a lot of kids. They've got so many fun stories and thoughts, and maybe because their parents are just like tired, or they're done with it for that particular day or whatever. I don't know. It just seems like, yeah, they're not as appreciated as it could be. Um, anyway, I guess I have less insight and less of a right to be talking about this because it's not like I've ever been a parent, and it's not like I really will be in, you know, ever in the foreseeable future at the very least. And so it's like I can only speak from an outsider's point of view. But I was a kid once, and I've been at school, I've worked at places where kids were abound, and it was like interesting to me and informative. And so at least from my like little slice of knowledge that I've been able to kind of glean from those times, I saw that recurring theme of like kids not being taken seriously, and also just not actually being treated like a human. Like they're treated either like a toy or like a pet in a way, almost condescended to, you know? Sometimes not really even out of malice or out of meanness, but just out of a sense of like, I don't see you as a person in the way that I see myself as a person. That's kind of the vibe I got from some of the parents or like other adults, for instance. And, I guess it is what it is. It's just not my preferred method, Anyway, it's a whole thing. This all brings me to the Mary Oliver poem that I was thinking of, and forgive me for confusing Mary Oliver with Maggie Smith. It's quite unforgivable. It's just been such a long time since we've gone over these together. I've gotten a bit rusty. I lost a bit of my touch, guys. But this is another really, really great one, and it's very famous. Like, it's kind of overly famous at this point. Like people kind of roll their eyes, I think, when they see this, because it's it's almost becoming the live, laugh, love of poetry. Still, I think it's got a timeless quality to it. And so you guys tell me what you think. Wild Geese, it's called, by Mary Oliver. And typically this channel, I should say, is poetry related, though we do get very much sidetracked. So it's just a general conversation, really. Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to you, to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. The turns of phrase there, you can hear it in my voice. The soft animal of your body, the geese high in the clean blue air, and the family of things. Over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Come on, like it's poetry. I mean, it literally is poetry, but that's poetry, it's poetry. And so Mary Oliver, she basically doesn't miss. And you can see why it's so famous, right? That poem. And it's one that I think is quite well known. So if ever like you were to broach the poetry topic with someone, you'd be like, oh, this poem, Wild Geese, people maybe be familiar with it. And to our first time chatter, welcome in. Is it Melvon? We're doing a bit of poetry. We're doing a bit of getting in our feels. And it's like, it's those little specific turns of phrase, putting these specific words together that do something quite magical. Like, you have to like imagine that these words were put very particularly next to one another. Like, you only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes. It's like, it's just distilled excellence. And it's not that like, what's the word? It's not that complicated in terms of the language that's used. It's not dense. It's not like this hard to understand, obtuse scientific language, you know? It's easily accessible. It's like the longest word is probably announcing and then meanwhile. And yet what it's doing is so intricate. And that's the kind of delicate beauty of the whole thing. And I have in the past described a poem as a bit like a snowflake. It's unique and also quite fragile. And in the making of it, it's like quite easy to either overwork it or like kind of in an attempt to fine tune it, accidentally shatter it entirely. And so it's a very potentially maddening and frustrating process, but it's the kind of maddening and frustrating that I quite enjoy. So I torture myself and I like it. Maybe there is a bit of a masochistic streak in me after all. But yeah, Mary Oliver, she does not miss. And hopefully these are like kind of good introductory poems in a way, because they seem to have more concrete stepping stones into the understanding of their kind of meaning and feeling than some of the other ones that we've talked about before, you know? It's like a little taste test for what's to come, because as someone who in like university studied experimental poetry, that can be quite like dense and hard to get into. Still just as rewarding, but maybe requires a little bit more work, you know? And so it's the kind of thing where if you ease yourself into things, you will surprise yourself with the amount of wicked, crazy strangeness that you're able to tolerate, you know, not even too far down the track. I'm trying to think of a good example. Experimental poetry, the Christian Bach, E. Cummings. It's kind of like the bridge between some of the weirdest stuff. Let me see. Just as like a fun little example. Experimental poem. Do you feel like your studies with experimental poetry made you love it even more? I think so. Absolutely. I would have always appreciated it and loved it. But in general, I found like, I found that in the dissecting of things, I could like really appreciate the fine, invisible work that was going on beneath the surface. Especially when it comes to stuff that most people will overlook because they think, what the fuck am I looking at, you know? Experimental poetry. I can't even show you guys this. That's a shame. Maybe. If I can create a new account. Actually, this should be fine. Let me just check that I'm not going to dox myself here. It doesn't seem like I'm showing anything too revealing. Okay. Here. Is this going to work? Full screen. And then here. Hello? Fuck. Oh, wait. There we go. You guys can see this? Like, if you look at this, you might be like, what? What is this? You know? And it's hard to win over or justify it to someone who's like new to poetry, you know? Something like this maybe, which is very cool. I'm sorry I can't zoom in. There's something about Google being weird. Something like this, where you don't really know where to start reading. Do you go this way, then down, like left or right first? Of course, the more traditional, funnily enough, traditional experimental poetry, stuff like black cat poetry, which is so much fun. And you guys should try it if you haven't before, because it's like, it's a way to have something at least to start with and work with text that's already there. Another one here. And then something like this, like, would you even consider this a poem? I would, but I know my like tolerance is quite a bit higher than I would imagine most people's is. Like leaning into concrete poetry with like shapes and stuff like that. You know? We might get to Summer Day. We'll see. We'll see. Appreciate the enthusiasm. This is like more concrete poetry style, where the actual lines make a picture, you know? It's like my sales pitch for getting into noise music. That is such a great parallel. It's absolutely, like, definitely on the same wavelength, you know? And it's almost like if those that get it, you know? And sometimes those that don't just don't. Like, look at this, right? How cool is that? It's like a mess and it's glorious, you know? It makes you work for it, really. It makes you kind of pause and like slow down, actually take your time to pick apart what's happening. Whereas maybe a straightforward poem is not so coquettish, like it doesn't make you kind of earn your understanding. And I like that. I like how it's a bit of a tease, you know? They're not all like that, of course. Sometimes they just make interesting shapes and they're nice to look at, you know? It's like a little fox or something like that. There was even further experimentation where someone like Christian Bach, for example, who is kind of a crazy figure in general, who taught briefly at the university that I studied at, what he did was somehow he implanted poetry into DNA somehow and was able to make it continue replicating so it made its own poem. And that sounds like sci-fi, but it's absolutely true. I'm butchering it. Like, there's a whole like explanation of it online. But like, that is even further than the experimentation that we see here that's on the page, because it's literally off the page and into the real life, you know? And that like germ or DNA or whatever the organism thing that he injected that poetry into is going to ostensibly, if it all goes well, be replicating itself indefinitely, like after all humanity is wiped out. And that's kind of fucking insane. So it's, yeah, one of those things where it's like, damn, people are really out here doing wild shit, you know? And yeah, it's just like, it's inspiring to me, at least, because I feel like, well, if people are out there doing that, then you can afford to be a bit playful and fuck around and find out type beat. It is cool, you know? It's weird. It's strange. And it's kind of, yeah. It's almost like a bit of a permission slip to go buck wild, at least in my eyes. Let's see, Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Just for you, but I hope you know I typically would not be so obliging. But Mary Oliver's a what's it called? A soft spot for me. Let's see. Yeah, it's already like right up my alley. It's my stress reliever. Honestly, I can relate when it comes to poetry. So, see, this is the thing. I don't typically like take requests so willy-nilly because it tends to derail whatever like whatever train of thought we're desperately clutching to. But this is a special once off. So if you guys do have requests or things that you'd like to share, The Discord is the best place for it because we have dedicated sections for everything that your heart could possibly think of, including experimental work, actually, which gets probably the least amount of love, to be honest. Anyway, The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. While I link the Discord. Yeah. So, I hope this is the full thing. This is just what I saw online. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Again, it gets to a point where I just have nothing to say because the poem says it all for me. And this was a reoccurring issue that we had like way back when we did these types of poems, that I had nothing to offer because it just was, it was just crafted to perfection, no notes, you know? And Mary Oliver, I think, is really the goat at that kind of really precious, pastoral writing. And that kind of gut punch right towards the end where you feel implicated in the work. Like, tell me what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Wild and precious as the two adjectives. Honestly, she's right. Those are the best two adjectives to use. And the extended digression, I think, on the grasshopper is really sweet. It's like taking the entire world and zooming in to a very minute part of it, but still no less wild or precious. The tenderness that is required in feeding a grasshopper sugar water, being trusted enough to like actually be approached by the grasshopper and stuff like that, and being still, silent, and blessed enough, I suppose, to be able to watch and observe in that amount of detail. Like she's got that fantastic eye for it. Yeah, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. She has that sense of languidness in a way. Like she's just kind of gracefully traversing through the world in awe of the kind of the wonder of it, you know? And that's something that I really admire. I'd like to say I relate, but I don't know if I am as good as conveying it in my own work as she is. Yeah. It's also quite funny because I'm looking at people's comments here where the poem has been posted and there's so many wildly different interpretations, you know? Some people think it's about like riling you up to make the most of your life. Other people are saying it's about the exact opposite. It's about letting you relax and focus in on those tiny, minute details like the grasshopper and like how she thoroughly washes her face and stuff like that. And so that's another thing that I find so beautiful about just art in general. It can be wildly, differently interpreted, and they're all right in their own way. I've always said that to me, an argument is as valid as its compellingness, you know? If you can convince me of something, make me believe that it's compelling, then yeah, you know, that's all. There's no sense of innate rightness or wrongness to any particular interpretation of something. Like you could probably convince me that Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven is about ordering chicken nuggets if you phrased it compellingly enough, you know? If you can make those like parallels and comparisons, then by all means, you know? And so I think, again, just that more descriptivist position as opposed to a prescriptivist position. And so, Yeah, that's a good one. And I realized I actually have heard that before, but I'd maybe only seen the last few lines because I'm sure it gets taken and like plastered across fucking live, laugh, love boards all the time as well. The Raven is about a zinger. Trust me, bro. Literally, if someone were to like try and make the argument, I'd hear them out. Oh, that's fucking funny. It's about a zinger deal. Oh, Lord have mercy. And yes, I do play the guitar. You can see, funnily enough, that's not even the main one that I use. My baby is actually in like the kitchen area, front room. That one's just out on display because I don't have anywhere else to put it. And that's actually, speaking of music and stuff, I wonder if now that I've got this working, maybe I can show you guys a Club Cherry thing. You've played bass for 10 years? That's fantastic. You know what they say, that the bass player is like the heart of the band and also the sexiest. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't make the rules. And ukulele, oh, that's fantastic. I also very much love my ukulele. And it's somewhere in this room. Somewhere. But I think we're about to have ads, oh shit, in a minute. So maybe after that, we'll see if this works. I don't know if it will. We need so much of your input on your latest music. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know why. It's been a while since we've actually done this together where we've like listened and talked about it and dissected it and broken it down. So we'll see how we go. But we'll have to do it after this little break. And I guess now is a good time for me to say, like, if you guys want to get a drink or like have a little break, go for it. It's been 2 hours. That's crazy. How did we get here? And we'll do affirmations as well after the ads. Yeah, a little smoker. And so, yeah. It is like an art gallery and like a diary that I'm just putting out there for everyone to see. Absolutely. It's very, very true. And so, let's see. Are we having ads? I don't even know. If not, then we can do affirmations. And yesterday when we did them, I was actually trying to not look, see if I could remember them. And to be honest, I think I could remember them, but like I got unconfident in myself. And so yeah, I did take a peek, but maybe I'll try and get to a point where I don't have to peek when we do affirmations. So since I can't, it doesn't seem like we're starting ads. I guess we'll do them. Oh, there they are, finally. We'll do them after this. And if you have any further recommendations, feel free to post them in the Discord. But I think we're going to move on now to a musical number, you know? And I'll see how much of my own singing and playing that I can take before I'm like, all right, that's more than enough. And before I lose my shit because of this little co-host of mine still knocking about. One of those tiny fruit flies that comes in seemingly out of nowhere. All right. What else was I gonna say? The outfit for today. It's like I showed you guys. It's not really that crazy. Girls, and black pants, and of course the boys on the back. So for the continued challenge, it's giving girls. It really is. And so this is like a shirt that I've had for probably close to 10 years now. It's very much like a teeny bopper shirt that I just kept. I like the red too. It's quite bold actually. And I just picked it randomly out of my closet because before I was wearing this really oversized jumper and I was like, first of all, have I worn this on stream before? I can't remember. And second of all, I know I'm going to get overheated like I always do when I'm talking with you guys. So I just found something that was short sleeved and just thought, oh, this is cute. I haven't seen this in a while. And so, yeah, it's another fun part of this challenge of ours. I get to see and wear clothing that I haven't given much love to for a very long time. So, yeah, it is a bit Converse-y. I think that's true, actually. The collar and stuff like that, and the sleeves. I didn't even mean to match the lipstick, but it's funny. It's like, I think it's because I only have red lipstick. As sad as that may sound, at least in my, like, kind of to-go bag of makeup and stuff. It works at least for the vampire look, which you guys seem to like, so I can't complain. And let's see. Nearly done with the ads. Okay, good. And then, yeah, we'll listen to a couple of songs. I'm out of focus. We'll listen to a couple of songs, and then we'll see. I should also say, like, I know we've been going really well with the streak so far, but I know for certain that on Saturday, at least, I'll be hanging out with friends. We're doing, like, a big get-together to play some, not board games, it's like a murder mystery game where you, like, walk around the room and, like, try and figure out who done it, kind of. And so that will be in the evening, though, at least we've made tentative plans for the evening. So I might have time to pop in and say hi. And so because of that, we'll see how we go, but I will try and keep up this streak, though I'm hesitant to make any promises, because promises mean a lot to me, and I don't just want to make them willy-nilly. Though it would be nice to just keep this streak going for as long as we can, you know? And yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. I'm not going to lie, I'm nervous about being given the evil role, because I don't think I'm very convincing, to be honest. But we'll see. Whatever happens, happens. I'll try and do my best not to completely give everything away. Like, if someone asks me, oh yeah, are you the killer? And I'll be like, malfunctioning. Yes, no, maybe. And they'll probably be like, okay, you are. You absolutely are. So I might see if I can somehow, like, swing the favor of the host. Funnily enough, I'm actually hosting it, like, at my my parents' house. But the person who's bringing the game and everything, they're kind of technically hosting the actual game. I'll see if they can kind of have mercy on me, essentially. Oh gosh. Yeah, if you do enough yeahs, you'll lose them. That's actually good advice. I'm very much like, I'll have to fall back on that, I think. And so yeah, we'll see how we go on Saturday, at least. Though, so far, I've been enjoying streaming actually every single day. It's weird. I felt like it was going to burn me out. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. But there's something about, like, just rocking up and being like, hey guys, here I am for however long, starting whenever, finishing whenever. It's like, it's kind of cool. It's like, I don't know. Keep you updated. I don't remember my best streaming streak. That was probably when I very much first started, because I had a challenge to stream for every day in that month. And I literally treated it like a 9 to 5, like put in 8 hours a day. It was horrible and wonderful at the same time. And so, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have like an updated, bigger and better version of that, because there's something to it. There's something about keeping a rhythm that I think works, but I'm figuring it out still as we go. So anyway, should we do our affirmation first, or should that be our signing off thing? It's kind of been nice recently. We've signed off with the affirmations as opposed to have them in the middle. Let's do some music first, and hopefully this works. Ooh, looky here. This is my music YouTube channel. We're almost at 300 subscribers, which is an incredible, like, it's just an incredible privilege that people care enough to check in and just see whatever it is I'm up to. This is a place where I post mostly music, I would say, but sometimes a little bit of poetry slips in, and sometimes they merge. Feel free to subscribe if you like. Here's the link. I just copy and paste that. And there you go. It's free. That's the best part. It's free to subscribe. And I have made it a point, like a specific point, to upload every single week. Some at some like time on a Thursday, so Australian time, because I just figured, you know, having that really strict kind of deadline, having it be almost like non-negotiable in a way, just made me more productive, you know? It made me feel like it was inevitably going to happen, that I would inevitably just make something and share something. And so it was almost like reverse engineering the process. And you can kind of see here, right at the top, it says 123 videos, which is kind of like insane. I'm pretty sure that means I've been posting for 123 weeks, right? I can't remember if right at the start I was posting more frequently. But anyway, let's just say it's something along those lines. Yeah, it's a grind, but it's like something that felt manageable, especially because a lot of my my little songs and stuff are quite short. Like the most recent one you can see here is 15 seconds, you know? And probably my longest one would be probably the length of a regular ass song, you know? 3 minutes. Maybe there's one that's like 5 minutes, I don't even know. But you can see here kind of like it's an eclectic mix of stuff. My face or just random text. Yeah, they're kind of like little sketches. And I think for the longest time, like I was holding on to a lot of this stuff because I thought they're not fully fleshed out ideas. No one's really going to care, right? But I realized I was actually kind of just hoarding. And what would be the harm, essentially, in posting it anyway, you know? So here is the result of all that, you know, just unleashed the hoarding, essentially. And see, Lockett, what you said earlier is very true. It is like a mix of an art gallery and like a diary for everyone to see. It's quite rough around the edges, and so you'll see why in just a second. But I haven't tested out watching videos with you guys on this kind of setup before, so please bear with me. It might be too loud, it might be too quiet. We're going to figure it out together. So let's just do this one here, like the most recent one, literally posted 2 hours ago. I hope it's not going to be too loud.
I'm like 1 a.m., you 2 p.m. I'm like, let's stay friends. You're like, I bet. I'm like, I want this. You're like, pretend. We're just so different, so different.
Like, how loud was that? And also I can get rid of my face if that's easier. What the hell? What just... No, autoplay. No. What the hell? Is autoplay a thing? Oh, okay. It wasn't too loud. Was it too quiet? So different. And there's my face. Look, like giving the bombastic side eye. You know? Gotta turn that shit off. Yeah, the autoplay, like, I didn't even remember that it existed because it's always been off on my other computer and stuff. I'm gonna turn it up like just a little bit and we'll figure it out together.
I'm like 1 a.m., you 2 p.m. I'm like, let's stay friends. You're like, I bet. I'm like, I want this. You're like, pretend. We're just so different, so different.
Kind of better. You can see the really short thing. You're like 1 a.m. The contrast, yeah, that's right. Oops, sorry. Like the kind of meta text, the way to show different speakers or whatever. I was like, what's a really simple way to do that? Oh, just different colors. Because otherwise it might seem a bit confusing, like who's saying what thing, especially when I'm singing and I'm just slurring my words. Like this, the I bet part, I don't know if that even comes through, like when you hear me sing it, right? It sounds more like I bet, which I think still works. But like, yeah, that's why the lyrics, like the lyric videos are so important, because half the time I can't even remember like what I actually said. And so I'm like, better write this down and make a formal official note. Otherwise I'll be kicking myself because I won't remember, and listening to it won't help. When it comes to recording as well, I probably should record on the Blue Yeti. It's a decent mic. It's a fantastic all-rounder and a fantastic starter. But because I'm so lazy, typically I record on just my phone, like on my voice notes. And yesterday or the day before on stream, we were talking about how many written notes I have on my phone. And I said I had like 1,100 and something, right? And that's true. And then I said that I had about 30 something thousand photos on my phone, which is also true. And then I forgot to mention that I have like nearly 1,000 voice memos as well. I know. Guys, I know I have a problem, okay? You don't need to point it out. It's glaringly obvious. That number has only gone up. And the sad part is I do genuinely try to like control it. Like, I think that I'm being, what's the word? Not harsh, but fair when I like delete random voice memos that I don't need anymore. But I know I need to clear it out. It's true. And it's so easy to get sucked in though. Like the thing is, it feels, and I think I said this yesterday, it feels like I'm being productive. Like I'm cleaning out some of the like leftover stuff that I don't need anymore. But it's just a really easy way to lose like 5 hours, you know, when I could be actually making something in those 5 hours. And so I always end up kind of tricking myself out of it. And so the list just keeps on growing, essentially. As for the majority of the notes, that's such a great question. And actually, I'm surprised I hadn't talked about this before. When it comes to the voice notes, it's usually songs. It's a mix of songs, actually, and then let's come back here since we're just chatting for a sec. Songs, or like me doing what I'm doing right now, which is like talking to myself out loud, you know? And kind of giving myself therapy in a way. Those little sessions where I try to unpack a topic because it's too jumbled up to just stay in my brain, and also I can't be bothered writing it out like with a pen and paper. Yeah, it's like an audio diary, that's right. And so don't get it wrong, it very much is hoarding as well. Euphemisticism, that is exactly the word. And so I do know that I have a problem. But I'm just not ready to change, guys. I'm not ready. And maybe it's like past trauma, because I have had moments where, not really on my phone to be honest, or at least not on this phone, but on past phones and on past computers, I've had moments, I've had moments where my computer has crashed or has gotten corrupted in some way, shape or form, and I've lost everything. And that feeling, I'd rather be stabbed in the fucking chest. You know what I mean? Like, that feeling is so overwhelming that I think it may be stuck with me. You know what I mean? And yeah, also that feeling of like, oh, it could be important one day. Like that fucking grocery list that I wrote 10 years ago saying milk and eggs. Like maybe I'll need that for some reason. And so that's like also part of the problem. But that genuine leftover fear of potentially losing everything has maybe contributed a little bit. And the thing is, like, since streaming and stuff and being a writer and like a music person, whatever you want to call it, like you have that extra justification as well to like keep all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like it feels as if maybe there's a bit of extra padding between the issue and the justification. And so, yeah, make your backups, guys. Please, I beg of you, make your backups. Like, I don't really use the cloud. It's a personal preference of mine. It's a whole thing in and of itself. But I actually at this point have, I think, even 2 or 3 backups, which sounds excessive. I know it is. I have an external, like, hard drive thingy that is kind of like a just in case thing. And then I have a backup of most of my stuff on my computer. And then I typically have a backup of some of my most important things on a little USB. and sometimes that USB is in my possession, and other times like I just give it to someone else to just take care of, you know. But yeah, I fuck the cloud. I agree. There is something kind of dystopian and icky to me about the cloud, and I don't know why. I think it's probably, yeah, it probably makes sense. Like that idea of things just existing and possibly able to be hacked into by anyone. Fuck the cloud and fuck CapCut. Oh yeah, we should also talk about that too. But yeah, make your backups, people, please, please, please. And it's true that if things did get deleted or corrupted in some way, you can always remake things. And I think that's a beautiful and positive way to see the world. I don't know if I'd be able to be that gracious if it actually did occur that I'd lose everything. Because when I think about my life's work, it's probably millions of words of written work at this point, and probably hundreds of hours of like spoken work and songs. And so with just the sheer amount of time put in, it does feel like a horcrux in a way, like a little piece of yourself has like gone into that stuff. And so I can't bear to think of it all disappearing down the drain, even if, you know, bodily, I'd be fine. I'd live, I'd survive, you know. But I think a little piece of me would just wither up. And I do feel sometimes that petulant, almost bratty impulse to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go like become a monk in the mountains. Like just almost like out of spite, you know. Like, fine. I see how it is. Fuck you too. And then I just like, you know, drop everything, which wouldn't be fun for me either, but it would just be done out of spite. So all that is to say, I have lots of notes and voice memos, and surprisingly, I don't have that many emails. I don't know why. Like for a lot of people, they talk about how many thousands of emails they have. But for me, it's like one of those things I've always been able to just like clear out relatively easily. But my real vices are the notes and notes and notes. And a lot of them could really easily be just deleted, but that would require the sifting, and that the sifting is what takes the most time, you know? If I systematically went through it, like tried to delete maybe 5 things a day, I'd get through it eventually, like before the end of my life. But yeah, I'd feel like I'd been shucked by an oyster. Like an oyster, yeah. By an oyster and like an oyster at the same time. That is so true. That just scooping out of everything like good and holy and right. That's kind of, yeah, this is what I'm scared of. And so maybe one day I just need to hand my phone to someone and be like, you do it. And just have them kind of double check if it seems like super important. But if it's just something like a weird thought that I've had in the middle of the night, which I've done that before. I just like write something random down, and I think, oh, this is the key. This is the key to the universe, you know? And I wake up in the morning and it says something like, oh, God, I can't even think of it. Why doesn't Squidward wear pants, or some shit like that? Like, and I just look at it like, why did I think I was writing the fucking Da Vinci Code when I was like half asleep? And so, yeah, I probably could afford to just like give it to someone and be like, do your worst. But yeah, you know, I think I have issues, guys. Yeah, why doesn't he? Does anyone know? I'm desperate to know. And so, yeah, at this point, like I was telling you guys, my phone has got so little storage on it that I need to make some intervention, right? Because it literally crashed the other day because it had so little space on it left. And then I deleted some things, and then there's like a tiny bit left now, so I have to kind of ration that out. He wears a thong. Yeah, for Patrick that makes sense, but for Squidward. Anyway. I don't even know how I started talking about this, but there we go. The voice notes. And they're mostly songs and self-therapy sessions. And that's honestly kind of it. Like they could be broken down into those 2 categories. There was a time where I was doing like little like readings of things, either for my friends or just for my own personal like enjoyment later, because there were some things that I'd also written, but I didn't want the book anymore, so I just like recorded myself reading it. And so like that sounds really silly, but you know, because if it's like one tiny poem in like a mix of all this random other bullshit that I'd written that I didn't want, just like, okay, let me just take the good part. And so readings of that type of thing. And as for the written notes on my phone, it can really be anything. Like it could be anything from like the why doesn't Squidward wear pants type beat thing to grocery lists to actual full-on like fully fledged chapter stories of stuff, horny poetry, like song lyrics, poems to friends. It's really everything. And so yeah. It's a mess. It really is. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma, as they say, as Patrick says. And so anyway, at least some of it has been able to make its way out of the craziness and into the world, at least with like YouTube and stuff like that, which I'll come back to. Full screen. And so these are all voice notes from my phone, which is why you can kind of hear, it's got like a, not intentionally, lo-fi kind of vibe. A read through of Das Kapital, that's hilarious. I'm actually kind of down. I'm not gonna lie. That would have to be like a like some kind of a subathon goal or something like that, because holy shit, that's a fucking tome. But yeah, what can I say? Das Kapital, I'm down. I think we can do one or two more. Yeah, let's do this one. Subathon when? I don't know. We still need to do the Germa, like Emmy gets married to Germa stream. Oh, can you tell, amiga? So after that, at least. This one is relatively new, actually. Sometimes when I post, it's based on old like voice memos that I've just finally gotten around to turning into a video. Other times I've had like this stroke of genius, if you want to call it that, and like have like an idea, record it, and make the video all in one go, essentially. And this was one of those instances. And sometimes you can kind of tell based on the maturity of my voice when I'm singing, and maybe the topics I'm talking about. They're usually the words themselves. Sometimes they can be subordinate to the actual melody and everything else. So yeah, anyway, we'll listen to this together and you guys tell me what you think.
Okay, let's try again.
Be honest.
Your silence is a hungry thing. You make it precious, you make it sing.
Is that too quiet or something?
What are the sounds you bring? Your silence is a hungry thing. You make it precious, you make it sing. I wanna
Sorry.
know what are the sounds you bring. What are the sounds I could ring from you? The sounds I could ring from you. The sounds I could.
Was that too quiet? Because we can go again, baby. Silence is a hungry thing. You make it precious, you make it sing. I wanna know what are the sounds you bring. That little picture as well. Like, I should mention that most of, like 99.9% of the like backgrounds and pictures on the channel are photos that I've taken, you know, because for a few reasons. One, because I was scared of being copywritten into next week, and I didn't even want to like accidentally use someone else's picture from like Google Images if I could help it. And also because I thought it would add more of that like personalness to it, you know? And so I made a concerted effort to, when possible, use my own photos and my own like videos, because, you know, I could use a fucking stock image if I wanted to, but where's the fun in that, right? And to offer something that really you can't get from anywhere else was an important part of the process for me as well. I also just thought that this was an interesting photo in general, because like, look at the road, right? Like, let's see if I can get one without the lyrics on it. Is there a time for it?
wanna know what other sounds you bring.
There. Like, this was a road, so I was on the passenger side, so don't worry guys, I was not using my phone while I was driving. And I was just like, that's fucking crazy. And it looked even more wild in real life. Like, it looked like the Inception thing where the road fucking just bends in half. And like, I couldn't really get a good shot of it on my phone camera, but I'm telling you, it looked like it was actually in half, like it was going vertical. And the cute little, I think it's a wombat sign there as well. It was like the icing on the cake. Can I zoom in there? Because like, I don't know, it just felt like such an interesting, somewhat eerie snapshot of like a place that maybe has some secrets to unfold or something like that. Heavy silence type beat. Yeah, and so I just thought, okay, I didn't take this photo with the intention of putting it on this channel. It was just like another one of those happy accidents, and hence another like further justification for my own hoarding, where I take photos thinking, oh, I might actually use this later, and then I do use it later and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just reinforcing my own bad habits. And so yeah, it was just one of those cool little things. Yeah, it is a cool road. And for some reason, I don't know why, I just felt like it fit this song. What do you guys think? Kind of fitting like the eerie vibe, or like that idea of silence and something about the melody. I don't know. Sometimes these connections are more like synesthetic and abstract than I can really explain, but I just felt like maybe it was a bit fitting without really knowing why. It's so this is in Victoria, so where I live, though I shouldn't be more specific than that, but I'm sure Rainbow could fucking find me instantly. Very close though. Shall we listen again now that hopefully the volume is fixed? And maybe I'll try and sing along. Do I dare? Could I harmonize? I don't fucking know. Let's try.
Your silence is a hungry thing. You make it precious, you make it sing.
I wanna know what other sounds you bring. I don't think that's like, I don't know if that's working. It's so hard to harmonize, guys. Just forget what you had.
Is a hungry thing. You make it precious, you make it sing. I wanna know what other sounds you bring.
What other sounds occurring from you? The sounds occurring from you. It's hard. Like, sometimes it works, sometimes it really, really doesn't. But I tried. And the reason this song even came about was because I got a really lovely compliment actually from someone, a friend of mine in person. They said something like, your silence is also quite poetic. Something along those lines. And I was like, that's really meaningful to me. Thank you. And then that kind of spurred on this little song, which I then sent to them as like look what you did, essentially. This wasn't me, this was all you. And so, yeah. You make it precious, you make it sing. Wanna know what other sounds you bring. Even though it's not really grammatically correct, like you don't really bring a sound, do you? But I thought it rhymes. So I just went with it. And funnily enough, it was actually, that last line I think was improvised, if I'm not mistaken. Because like, I needed something that rhymed with bring. I thought ring. The sounds a good ring from you. And like just dragging out that last line to kind of make it resolve in a hopefully nice way. So yeah, a lot of the times there's a bit of luck involved, a bit of a happy accident involved, and just a general hope that wherever I'm going, like it'll just sort itself out, like in the case of this song. Other times it doesn't work and it does not sort itself out. And this is an example of that, this third one here. And so you guys can't say that I don't bring like the realness, you know what I mean? So maybe this will be the last one that we listen to together, because I'm already being very self-indulgent, but it's a good contrast because it's like a relatively competent song with other sounds, and then right next to it, the Fool, which is like just a fool, you know. Let's go.
I'm a fool for the words.
It's quiet.
I don't care just how bad you treat me, as long as you berate me sweetly. Fool for the world. Flashbang in the pan, happily abandoned. Wow, 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 wow. I'm a fool for the word. I don't care just how bad you treat me, as long as you berate me sweetly. Fool for the world. A flashbang in the pan, happily abandoned.
No, it's like not working. Maybe I need the guitar. Like the realness. I was almost not going to even post that because I thought it's a bit too embarrassing. But then I was like, fuck it. It's part of my life, you know? And the wah, 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 wah is something that like I do a lot. I don't know why. Just like making a random gibberish noise if I've messed up and I'm like wanting to restart the take. But instead of ending the take, I just kept going. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just keep it in, you know? And I still, to this day, don't know how to resolve that. Happily abandoned. Like, because it goes out of my range to the point where I can't, I can't reach, you know? I'm a fool for the world. A flashbang in the pan. Happily abandoned. And go somewhere else. But I had no patience for it, like at that point in time. So I'm just like, oh, fuck it. We'll just like leave it as is. And I think that's fine. It's like, it's capturing something maybe metatextually, you know? Because yeah, like you see the title, it's called Fool. And that's kind of like a explanation or like a demonstration rather of how it feels sometimes to be a fool for the world, for the words, for whatever it is that you're a fool for. Leaning into it, exactly. And so those are the moments that I felt were just as important to share as the other times when a song comes together nice and neatly, you know? Happily abandoned. No. Yeah, for better or for worse. And so I felt like, I don't know, it would either go well to share something like that, or I'd lose my nerve and maybe dirty delete it after posting. But that's the thing about the schedule. If I end up deleting something that I posted on that week, then it's going to be out of order, essentially. Like there'll be 1 week missing. And so I have this extra bit of resolve to make sure that I just I'm pushed through whatever self-conceived cringiness there is. This little ditty was born relatively recently, I think, which is interesting because, yeah, it's less frequent now that I have those moments where I don't know how to finish a song or how to resolve it in a way that I like. But it's, you know, it's part of, it comes with the territory, part and parcel. And so like it was like, okay, reached the point where I figured it's kind of done, like as it is. And yeah, now it lives on here. And so did we see the next few? Kiss video is interesting, but not for today. There's like a lot of extra stuff that comes with that. It's funny. Before we like do our affirmations and sign out, I also wanted to talk a bit about CapCut, which is the app that I use to make those videos. And here's the thing. In a lot of the descriptions, you may see that I've written something along the lines of, I hate CapCut or like fuck CapCut. And the thing is, I do hate CapCut, at least nowadays. But the reason I hate it is maybe a bit more complicated. And it's because the app itself is such a it's such a powerful app. It's so good at what it does. It's better, in my opinion, than all the other apps out there. And yet, the reason why I am the number one hater is true, is because over time I've noticed, for some reason, I don't know what's going through their minds, if they're just hurting for money or something like that, but they've taken features that used to be free and have exclusively made them only accessible to people who pay for the app. And that is just, it's just a slap in the face, you know? It'd be one thing if they made new features that were only accessible to the pro users, but it's the taking away that feels extra greedy. How greedy? 6'4", how greedy? Sorry. Is that even a meme that we've talked about? Sorry. It's just like, come on, dude. I've been a loyal, not customer, but like enjoyer of this app for so long. I've made so many videos and I love like the actual product itself is good. Like it's actually good. And so why do you make me now have to like shrivel in the dirt like a worm to use these basic ass fucking features? Like the enshittification is just so disappointing. Like you can do better, CapCut, you know? You can do so much better. And now I feel like the douchebag who like has to use this app because no other one, like I've already trained myself on this app now. And so like I'd have to relearn the whole workflow and everything. And I don't want to do that. Like I've gotten used to this. I've gotten comfortable with this. And so now I have to use an app that I hate, like on a philosophical level, and just see them continuously. Like even now they're still putting more features into the pro version only. And it's like eventually the whole app is just going to have to be a pro version. And so it's not even the fact that I'm upset that they have a pro version. Like it's fine. You make your bag, you get your bag however you get your bag. But for me, it's just like don't take away the stuff that was originally good and then leave us with the scraps. You know, it just seems like a really disrespectful way to treat your consumer base, essentially. So if you ever see me saying fuck CapCut in YouTube, that's the reason. And more specifically, I could kind of grin and bear it for a little while until they finally did this thing where they limited the amount of times you can actually export out a file. And so that was just like, come on, are you fucking serious? Like, they also tried this thing one time where the watermark was absolutely mandatory no matter what you did. I think unless you got the pro version. And like, I don't want a fucking watermark on my work. Like, you know what I mean? Especially when it never used to be like that. And so it's just, yeah. I'm getting mad right now talking about it, guys. I can't keep talking about it or I'm actually going to like have a crash out live on stream. So that's why every time I post a video, I say fuck CapCut because I've been using CapCut and I hate that I have to. And I can definitely see the future where they keep continually taking out more and more features to the point where all you can really do is open the app before you have to pay fucking $99 just to look at it. And it's like, just fuck you, man. I'm getting mad. So, yeah. It's a double-edged sword as well. Or like, I should say, it's adding insult to injury, the fact that it's actually a genuinely good app. If it was a shit app, maybe I'd care less. But like they've got so much right. And so the fact that they turned so far away, like the fact that they just went down the greedy pathway is just so annoying because it's like, you have a good thing here. Why would you ruin it in such a way? It's just disappointing. And so, yeah, shrivel in the dirt like a worm. That's exactly how it makes me feel. And I don't know. I can't see it changing. I can have hope, really. But it just seems like it's the way for a lot of programs. Yeah, I was about to say Ballistic. You're so right. Software in general, the internet in general, a lot of products, they tend to fall down that enshittification pipeline where something starts with a bang and people love it and they use it a lot. Sometimes the company's operating at a loss to just get up, like drum up that hype and stuff. And eventually they're like, oh, actually, we want to turn a profit here. And they start taking away features or making their services worse or just like cheapening out on things and cutting corners. And then it's just like, bro, why? Why? Like, it doesn't have to be this way. For an extra cent, I don't know. It's just disappointing. And like, I know firsthand how intensive it can be to run like a little business or a big business. Like, I have my own stuff going on with like the merch side of things and like running it, even like a channel like this, for instance. And so I know that it takes effort, but that's the whole fucking point. It's like, yeah, people are paying money, or not even. They're like spending their hard-earned time and attention on you or your service. Like, the least you can do is actually give a single fuck, you know? And so maybe that's why it also hurts an extra little bit, because like I know how easy it would be to just have integrity, you know? And so anyway, fuck CapCut. And it's not going to stop me from using it until I literally am forced not to use it. But if you ever see like their watermark or some shit, just know that I tried my best to change it and I couldn't. And I could probably afford to pay for their app. I mean, it's egregious, but anyway. But I simply don't want to now, out of the principle of the matter. Because it's like, why should I have to pay now for these things that used to be free? That you offered up and ensnared me with. It's like, you did this to me, and now, like, you're taking it away. And so, yeah, I could literally rant about this for so long. But if any of you, like, perchance, had gone through the Club Cherry channel and you were like, why is Emmy continuously saying fuck CapCut, you know? That's why. And it just really does hurt me. Like, I know they're specifically not out to get me in particular, but it just feels like someone came in and just like, I don't know, stuck a phantom lance through my heart and took away something that was actually really, really helpful, because this app was quite marvelous when I first started using it. It had everything that you could possibly want, you know? Like, and now, yeah, it's absolute bonkers. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm complaining. But yeah, fuck CapCut, and until something else comes along, I'll have to keep using it. Because like I said, I've gotten pretty good at using it now, even with the restrictions. They're just like the utter disdain in my voice. Fuck me dead. Let's switch up the vibe. Let's do our affirmations, and then maybe we'll sign out for today as I maybe have some dinner and cool off a little bit, because steam is about to come out from my ears. The restrictions. Restrictions. God damn. I need to cool my jets. A chained artist is so tragic. That's quite funny. All right, that's kind of making me feel better, I'm not gonna lie. We'll listen to the rest of those like little songs at some point else, and some other point in the future. Oh God. Yeah, affirmation station. What should we talk about that is cooling? We can talk about our affirmations, which I can link here. Wow, look at that. And I'll do my little introductory spiel like always, to like show the disclaimer that these aren't my words. I'm just appropriating them because I think they're the perfect little antidote to most blues, most mild blues, I would say. And so if you want to see the original, please feel free to click on that link, which is in the chat, and you'll see the OG Amy Walker. I'm walking here as she delivers that monologue in her mesmeric voice and stare. I don't think she breaks eye contact once with the camera, which maybe I should try and do that. I don't know. And thank you, for Mysticism, for joining us. Like, seriously, it means a lot to me that you guys even remember me, to be honest. Like, it's crazy. You guys are crazy. So without further ado, anyway, before we sign off for today, I hope these words can give you even just like a fraction of the good feeling that they give me, because it really is inordinate. So it's my pleasure to say, yes. Yes, you are. You are ready. You are equipped. You are connected. You are unique. You are gorgeous. You are loved, and my personal favorite, you are alive. So thank you for being here in this stream with me, listening to me complain, but more importantly than that, thank you for being here on this earth in general. I know firsthand that it's not always easy, but it is always, 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 always important. And like Mary Oliver and Maggie Smith and Annie Dillard have been teaching us through their wonderful poetry, we can genuinely make life good for one another. Like we could make this place beautiful. And so let's just try. Let's try, baby, try. And yeah, I'll do my best to show up here tomorrow, though we'll see how we go. I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord. We're still in our little like transitory growing pains baby step phase. So try, baby, try. That's exactly right. I think I did that. Hopefully I didn't mess it up without looking. Just staring down the barrel of the camera like I'm trying to consume your soul. So yeah, we'll just keep it like pretty loose right now. It's been quite liberating. I'm gonna head off now. Like I was gonna head to bed, but that's not true. Life is baby steps. That's exactly right. Probably gonna get something to eat actually. Scrounge up something in this house, and then just like chill out. So feel free to keep the party going in the Discord. I've been still getting through some of those music things. I'm basically still where I was yesterday, to be honest, since I've been partying too much. But thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, ? Hugs and kisses, cugs and hisses, behave, or at the very least, do not get caught. I shall see you guys when I see you, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Let's try and make this world beautiful, shall we? Mwah.